We were in here talking with superstar Byron Lazine. He is a mega agent out of Connecticut, and he works with the Seaport Real Estate Group. We got William Pitt Sotheby's International Realty. He's been featured on a ton of different programs like Tom X and Mint Direct, and also stars in his own radio show out in Connecticut, as well as Raw and Uncut on YouTube. One of the best subscriptions that I've subscribed to. One of the best videos that I watch on YouTube. And I'm not just saying that. I've learned a lot from this guy. He is straight to the point. He believes in bringing the real estate industry up, and I absolutely love that. And by up, I'm talking about when people think of real estate agents, him and I and many other agents alike really want you to view us as professionals, as consultants, and not toll takers. And believe me, there's a ton of toll takers out there. We've got to get rid of them. We've got to get them out of the industry, and we need to keep expanding what we have going on here. So welcome back to the show, Byron.
Thank you. No, to your point about the toll takers, we either got to get them out, right, or we got to get them trained up. And I think there's no better way. I'm happy to hear that you've got a team, a top producing team. I think teams are the way to bring the level up, right?
I agree. Yeah.
Most of the brokerages out there are just not training their agents enough, right? And the barrier to get into this business, the barrier to entry is way too low.
It is. 45-hour class in Rhode Island.
It's 45 in Rhode Island?
45.
It's 60 in Connecticut. If you take the 60 and the 45 hours and put them together, you're still 1,900 hours away from getting your hair cutting license, right? Like, you got some pretty slick hair, but let me tell you right now, if I got behind your chair with a pair of scissors and I mess up your haircut, that's going to grow back, right?
Yeah.
That's growing back, dog. But if I mess up your finance and you foreclose on your house, that bank account's not growing back.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
I like that. That was a really good analogy. That was pretty slick in itself. And at the same time, that's the biggest issue. In the past couple of weeks, I've been dealing with so many new agents, and I'm actually taking the time to coach them through the transactions. I'm noticing that a lot of brokerages just don't have the mentorship. And I know brokerages like Sotheby's, whole different level, okay? The luxury market here in Rhode Island just isn't as huge as it is in other states. And my team, we focus on everything between $150,000 and, $700,000, $800,000 price points, okay?
Well, I think that's smart because moments in time, the market continues to shift, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's probably a moment in time right now where your sale price is moving up a little bit because people are selling those lower price homes and then moving up into a higher priced home. Exactly. But if you just focused on the 150s all the time, and that usually doesn't dry up, but you don't have the opportunity to jump into the $500,000 when those times are good.
Absolutely. Well, the way I like to look at that is actually so my personal core focus is the 300 to 500 range. And what happens from that is you have people that are selling the 300s, buying up to the 500s. The people buying the 500s are either going up to the 800s or they're downsizing to the 150, 200s. It's a full circle effect.
Yeah.
So that's how we service pretty much the whole industry here in Rhode Island. And on our team, we were talking about how teams are the best way to pretty much specialize. We have somebody that specializes in different areas, from first-time home buyers to veterans to, listings. We have all of that covered. So you have somebody that's fluid in this, somebody that does this hundreds of times.
How many teams in your market in the last couple of years have you seen, or solo agents have you seen turn to teams, go to a team, start a team in the last couple of years?
I've seen actually a lot of that, but I'm going to be dead honest with you, right? I'm just going to be straightforward. At the beginning of this year, I had 8 on my team. I now have 4. We're now doing double the production and being
because you have the right players.
We've got the right players on the team, and we've got actual team players. And it took a little while. Yeah. As a leader, I had to learn. I've got the best people behind me. I
was just on the phone with Kyle Whistle. And if you don't know Kyle, look, he's in San Diego. He's number 1 in all of San Diego. And I was just on a phone conversation with him yesterday. He has an independent brokerage. But he said, Byron, the most profitable team out there, because he's running a brokerage. He's got a lot of problems.
Mm-hmm.
You're worried about this one doing that. And
I'm all set with the brokerage.
So the most profitable team is actually a couple of agents, a really, really good listing agent, a couple buyer agents, and then 3 or 4 admins, right? Mm-hmm. Because you have one message, right? If you have 10, 20, 30, 40 team agents that don't have a great culture, that aren't unified, the message gets really scattered very easily. You have a lot of different agendas. So we start everything on our team culture first, right? Culture, mindset, clear the mind so that you can actually implement the tools and the infrastructure that we've built up. But here's an interesting prediction that Spencer Raskoff made. I think it was Inman Connect in, so what is it, 2017? It must have been 2015. He said, or maybe it was one of the Tom Ferry events. It was in 2015 regardless. He said by 2018, you're going to see 100,000 new teams in real estate across the country. They're taking over, right? And his point was basically speed to lead. That solo agent, if they're on your radio show, if they're out a listing appointment, if they're out with a buyer, what are they not doing effectively? They're not marketing effectively during that time. They're not getting back to Zillow leads during that time. I'd love to pick your brain on Zillow a little bit. They're not doing all the other things that benefits their listings, that benefits their other clients, right? Which is where the team has really taken over.
I totally agree. Never mind all the back-end support. So actually, there's 183 steps in the process of buying or selling when you pretty much break it all down, okay? Now, when you're on a team, on our team, we've broken it down to when we're listing a house, we're doing 44 of those steps. All of those steps are, basically sales or negotiating. They're all focused on the sales process, the person-to-person thing. There's a lot of things happening behind the scenes that an administrator can do to keep a team focused on sales. Now, the average real estate agent across the country makes about $21 an hour. Folks on a team like mine are making about 118. They're far more effective, and they're far more, they get it done. So some people understand that, others don't.
And if you're a seller out there, somebody in the local market that's thinking about selling your home, and you're trying to decide between, the solo agent's going to give me all their time, and the team's, here's the way to really break it down is, do you want your solo agent spending 2 hours trying to figure out how to make a marketing piece? Because guess what? Every solo agent out there isn't a great marketer, a great negotiator, a great analytical person, great at doing valuations, great at photography. Like, you can't be great at everything.
No.
You want a true professional consultant salesperson on your side getting buyers through your door that has the support and the infrastructure of people that actually know what they're doing in marketing, creating a marketing piece. Because marketing pieces can take an hour, 2 hours.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's distribution, right?
Yeah.
So you want somebody handling that on the back end, and you want your agent doing this, making phone calls to get people through your door so you can get 8 to 10 in a 30-day period so you can get an offer.
That's it. Actually, you know what? We actually have a full-time girl in the office. Her name's Casey. She's phenomenal. Shout out to Casey. She works between 40 and 60 hours a week, no less, sometimes even more. And she goes through our pipeline and calls all of the buyers when we're taking on a listing. So even before it's listed, we're working on it, Byron. Yep. We're getting people, she's connecting them, sellers, buyers. Oftentimes, even in a seller's market like this where there's no inventory, we have buyers coming in. We put them into this program where she calls all of our seller leads and connects sellers with homes that aren't even on the market yet. It's phenomenal.
That frees up your hour, right? Or this particular hour to do some radio, right? Yeah. And what are you going to get out of that for your sellers? You're going to get 3 or 4 buyers that are going to reach out to you directly, and they're going to say, Emilio, I'm looking for a house. Like, what do we got? Where do I go? And then you can direct them to the right place. Hopefully it's going to benefit your sellers.